Okay, welcome back. Today we have something a little bit special for you. You're going to get some insight into our laser coaching sessions where Kate and I coach students personally. Now, of course, our CCA students always have access to our coaching calls twice a month, and then, of course, our fabulous Facebook group as well. But these are special calls where we really get to dig into their specific questions in that moment. They're only 10 minutes, but boy, do we pack a lot of coaching and information in there. The topics are going to run the gamut. So no matter what you are interested in as a copywriter, even though you're not in the hot seat, I guarantee that you're going to hear something useful and interesting. Also, just a heads up that in a couple of the recordings, students mention Pitchapalooza and Right Starts, which are a couple of our student-only events. They're free for our students. And as with everything we do, they're designed to get people taking action and seeing success. So when you hear that reference, just know that that's what they are. So without further ado, let's dig into our laser coaching sessions. Hi, Melanie. Just muted. There we go. Hello.
How are you?
We're good. How are you? Or I'm good. I should speak on Kate's behalf.
Yeah,
Kate, how are you?
Super well. Yeah. Yeah. How are you doing now?
Yay. I'm good. I'm actually, I'm in Mexico, and the crazy thing is that the power was like out for some unexplained reason. So I was going to use my hotspot, but you know how like the hotspot is always not the best connection.
Yeah.
But it literally came on like 30 seconds ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is meant to be. This is going to be a good conversation. Yeah.
That's what I felt too. But that's actually my question.
Oh, good. Actually, let me
because I spend a lot of time
official. Yeah.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time in Mexico. Like I love it, and I'm looking to get temporary residency. So I'm actually glad, Kate, that you're on the call too, because I remember you saying that was it Germany or some.
Yep.
Yeah. Like how were you able to navigate that? Because I'm still working through the course, so I haven't like made any contacts in the US, and I've been like hopping back and forth between the US and Mexico. So any suggestions for that? Or
yes, I mean, in terms of getting clients, because I would give you advice in terms of taxes and accounting, and hire someone depending on your situation and what that means for how long you live in a place, and whether residency, if you're full US, get a tax person who's well-versed in just US and Mexico and can help you with that. It's less of a headache, less stress.
I definitely plan on hiring someone as far as the tax stuff, but I guess,
Perfect.
Thanks. I guess I was thinking more of like, like it's hard when you're maybe not having like a fit, like maybe clients might not have confidence in you if you don't have like a physical presence in the U. Like, I just want to know like how that all worked for you.
So
clients are good. Yeah. Clients are going to care where you are, as long as you can do what it is that you say you can do. You have your portfolio you can send them to and say, here's work I've done. And you're going to do it the exact same way that you would land clients if you were in the US. Literally, if you were anywhere, this process is not going to change in terms of pitching and sending that very value-based pitch of, I have an idea for your business, here it is. And if you haven't watched the client pitching masterclass, obviously, if you just started, use the suggested course order.
Oh yeah,
definitely you don't have to jump ahead. But the good news is that process will not change for you at all. I think, depending where your clients are too. Luckily, Mexico, you might be in similar time zones, so that will be less probably difficult to navigate potentially. But even then, if you want to have your days free and work nights, you can definitely do that. I think the only thing I would say is setting boundaries for yourself of saying, okay, I know I need to take some client calls. What are those hours going to be for me that I'm available on whatever time zone that your clients are on? But otherwise, so much of what you're going to be doing, you can kind of control your schedule and when and where you do it. Would I disclose where you are to your clients? But potentially just be like, hey, I'm working in Mexico and whatnot, if they pop on a call, but no one's going to care. Especially nowadays, it's so common for people to be working from all over and traveling while they work or whatever it is.
Yeah, for your clients, it's no different whether you're in Mexico City or whether you're in Los Angeles. There's no different experience for them at all. The only thing for you is that there can be infrastructure issues, right? Like you were just saying, the power went out right before you hopped on this, or the power came back on right before you hopped. But you need to be able to plan for those eventualities. Do you need a Wi-Fi router, dongle kind of thing? Do you need backup electricity somewhere? Or even if there's just a place you can go to, a cafe that you can work where it's quiet and their Wi-Fi is reliable, or just having a plan of what you would do if the power went out, if the internet went out, if all of that kind of thing. But quite frankly, it's what you would also do if you were in the States, right? Like if the power went out in the States, you'd go, all right, I have to go out, or I have to find a Starbucks, or I have to, whatever. But for your clients, it's really not going to make any kind of a difference, and which will be a testament to you that it won't make a difference, because you're still the same copywriter and you're still providing the same high level of quality work, no matter where you're located, whether it's Mexico, whether it's Germany, whether it's anywhere in the world. Yeah.
Okay, that makes me feel better. And it's interesting what you said about the infrastructure, because you do hear that so much about Mexico, and it's actually, the infrastructure is actually becoming, like, I feel like a lot better. Like I've even noticed it in the past couple of years. And I think because, speaking of Germany, there's a lot of German companies, like along with US companies, that set up their corporate headquarters. So like, I feel like they're working constantly to like improve the infrastructure. So it's actually, I mean, I definitely need the backups, but that was a concern, that it kind of worked itself out. And even when it was like bad, it was never like, it's never as terrible, it's never as terrible as people make it out to be. So,
yeah. The other thing I would say, though, just thinking of infrastructures, and I would say this, though, even if you were in the US, is just making sure you build in that time for your work, so that if power went out and you're like, okay, I've got 3 hours left on my laptop to hit this deadline, you're kind of keeping that in mind to say, okay, I set this deadline. I always give clients a deadline, and I usually under promise, over deliver, in the sense of like, I'm going to try to get this done and be, probably at least 2 days before the actual deadline. And then maybe the next day I'll just read it for one more read through to make sure it's all good. But I feel confident that if I had to send this to the client as is, I could. And so in those situations, because I was traveling in Romania once and something like that happened, and I was like, oh, thank God this is done. And I could tether my phone, and I had barely enough Wi-Fi power to send it through, but I wouldn't have had enough to actually get it done. So I was like, okay, thank God I did this beforehand, and built in that space. So
that's a much better way to live, for sure.
Reduce the stress on you as much as possible. So how things can happen and what can happen and what your specific situation is and your schedule and how you want to run it. So just take that into account and set those boundaries for yourself, and then just stick to them.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. I mean, I definitely, because I did pitch a Palooza, and I'm just like, I've been hitting some resistance, but it's getting better. Honestly, I think it's better because I feel like I have my own, like the space I'm in is good. And it was like, I was with my mom at my mom's house for a while, and that's like never. So it's like, I'm in my own space again. And I feel like I'm able to like, work when I want to, and like have my own space, and do what that like makes a big difference. So I feel like I'm back on track. And I just remember thinking, like, I was like, oh, I hope like clients don't get like, it's good that you said like they don't get, you can disclose where you are, but I didn't know like how that worked out.
It's absolutely. There may be times where there's stuff in the background and you can go, oh, I'm working for Mexico. I'm doing the same thing where you might be a little bit loud. I'm in Costa Rica, and for whatever reason, the monkeys woke up, and then it's like, wow, that's cool. And it just becomes a talking point. But because you continue to be incredibly professional, and you are, always on time with your calls, always on time with your deadlines, if not sooner, always checking in with your clients, making sure they're happy, making sure they know where you are in the process, all of that stuff that you would do anywhere else, they're not going to it's not going to be an issue for them.
Okay, perfect. That makes me feel better.
I was going to say, if it makes you feel better too, there are clients that I've worked with for years that I still haven't met in person. Like,
oh yeah,
we've just never been in the same. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think the vast majority of my clients I've never met in person.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. That's just like you said, that's just kind of the global. And it's better now than ever, because I was remote pre-pandemic and obviously now post-pandemic, and post-pandemic is just, again, I always say the one silver lining of it is that people are very much used to this type of interaction of Zoom, Google Meet, what have you.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're almost confused. They're almost confused when you're local. They're like, oh, wait, you're close to me.
Yeah. The other thing I was going to say, just as potential backup, so that if Wi-Fi doesn't work, is to get a, I shouldn't even say Wi-Fi because you still need Wi-Fi for it. But I always felt very comforted having Zoom, Google Meet, a Skype number, which I know Google has numbers too. So in case I needed to call versus video, just having multiple modes of communication, if for whatever reason. Sometimes clients like a specific mode of communication anyway, but for me, it felt the more options I have, the more covered I felt of like, okay, here's plan A, here's plan B, here's all these possible things.
Oh, because with the telephone number, so that means you can just dial it right on your phone and be connected to the conference. Yeah.
Exactly. So, and again, you need Wi-Fi or that obviously helps lower the cost, but you could also look into just as backup having a number and what that would cost to maintain, being able to contact out. You obviously don't want to put the burden on your client to be like, here's a really expensive phone call now. But look into your options of, okay, if I took this on, is there a way, my Skype number allowed me to call out people. It was really hard for people to call me, but I could at least call out, and it was all covered on my end so that they saw a local number when they answered, and it was seamless for them. No charge, all that sort of thing.
Okay, great. Thank you. That was great advice.
Yeah. And good for you for doing it.
Yeah, it's exciting.
No snow. I mean, right now it's about 85 degrees. So I'm in southern Mexico. So I don't like snow. I mean, cold weather, I'm okay, but snow. So if it's cold enough to snow, I'm like,
no thanks. I love it. I love it. Good for you. I think you're living the life that a lot of people dream of. So good for you for doing it.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you. It was, I was so happy that I won. I was like, I never win anything. But then I'm like, I feel like people when people win something, they always say, I never win anything. It's like, you just like have to say that for some reason. So,
well, and now you do win. So now you are a winner. This is what you do. You just win stuff. So,
exactly,
I mean, you're in Mexico. You won before you won.
You already
won. I mean,
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your day, ladies.
Absolutely.
Thank you as well.
Thanks,
and
Melanie.
keep us posted on how it's going.
Okay.
Please.
Sounds good.
Yes.
Hey, Nikki. Bye.
Bye, Melanie.
Bye.
Like what you heard? Hit subscribe so you never miss a video. And if you're ready to take the first step toward becoming a copywriter yourself, sign up for a free video training right here.